Good morning and welcome back to the One Celtic Fans View this morning. I hope today finds you well wherever you are around the world. But today is a day all about Celtic transfers. And wow, I really feel let down by a young Celtic player that I thought could really have went on and had a cracking Celtic career. Late last night, the news broke that Daniel Kelly has been banished from the Celtic first team, just like Rocco Vata. And Brendan Rodgers did go on to explain just what he had planned for Rocco Vata last season. If Rocco Vata had just accepted the deal, and now it's like young Daniel Kelly is going the same way. He doesn't want to accept the deal that's on offer by Celtic, so he's now going to be banished from the Celtic first team, and he'll basically spend the next couple of months. And he's probably thinking, his agent's going, it's okay, look, we'll get you a good deal. We'll get you a move down south and you'll get about 15, 20 grand a week. Silly boy, in his football career, he'll do nothing and he'll win nothing. Daniel Kelly, if you're watching this, you'll win nothing in your career. Sometimes a career that is made up for financial gain is, and I could talk from experience, mate. I can talk from experience. I've had businesses that had 20 odd staff, and it doesn't make you happy. You know, that kind of money doesn't make you happy. And ultimately, you find what does make you happy in life. Just go and ask Scott Brown about all the medals he's got and why he didn't go down to England for big money. Anyway, Daniel Kelly will no longer be part of anything to do with Celtic by the looks of it, because he's not going to agree a new deal. Rio Hatate was approached. Well, and we all know that Rio Hatate's been sitting sinking going, I want to go and play in a bigger league. Well, the only league that came from him was the Russian league. Yep, Celtic rejected an approach from Russia after the Japanese midfield player Rio Hatate. Parkhead Club were asked earlier in the week to open negotiations with an unnamed club. Man, don't go down that road, Celtic. Just name the friggin' club. Don't go down that bullshit road, an unnamed club from an unnamed source. That's what a team across the road with a crumbling stadium does. Don't you do it. Just name the fucking club. Simple. Hatate has been a key player at Celtic, blah, blah, blah. But following the invasion of Ukraine, Russian clubs have not been involved in Europe. And Celtic basically just shut down any contract negotiations, didn't even want to enter contract negotiations. The European Union have imposed wide-scale sanctions on Europe, on business and individuals. Celtic rejected an invitation to begin transfer talks over Hatate before a fee was even discussed. That was an investigation by Follow the Money website. Anyway, and then it was picked up by a publication. Daniel Kelly one, and I want to get back to that. And I mean, we spoke last night about the transfer of Matt O'Reilly, but I feel really personally, I thought he could have went on and been a Celtic legend, a Celtic captain of the future. But he's listening to agents. He's listening to his agents, and he's missed a massive opportunity this season to go on and cement his place as a Celtic player. We've seen what he was like towards the end of the season. He did get game time towards the end of the season, but then he disappeared off the ether, and now we know why. It was because he was obviously offered that contract at the end of last season, and he's rejected it. And the Celtic manager, has turned around and said that he's confirmed that the 18-year-old has been banished from pre-season after failing to commit his future to the club. The highly related player he did score in February against, was it Dundee? But out of contract in December and creating interest from other clubs. Celtic should just sell him. Don't let him walk out the door for no fee. Sell him just now and get him gone. Fuck him. Get him out the door. Get him out the door. Get about £1 million in the door for him, and then just get rid of him. Do you know? Celtic already obviously lost Rocco Vata, who went down the same route. Decided not to sign a contract with Celtic. There's no impasse, said Brendan Rodgers. Daniel, like Rocco Vata before him, has been offered a deal with the greatest respect. I've worked with young players And I know the level of young players and where they're at from a technical aspect and a financial perspective. It's no first Brendan Rodgers' first gig. Do you know what I mean? He's worked with some players through his career. Brendan Rodgers then went on to say Rocco was offered a contract. He was going to be one of the 3 strikers at Celtic, but decided it wasn't going to be for him. So he left. That's absolutely fine, and we wish him well, and we wish him very best. That's why Rocco Vata was left out. So it's interesting to know that Brendan Rodgers did want to play Rocco Vata as a third choice striker, and he thought, nah, I don't want to be third choice. I want to be first team. I want to be first pick. These players really need to fucking get a grip, and I hope Rocco Vata goes on, does absolutely nada in his career. And I'm sorry, Daniel Kelly, but you might want it one day end up playing for Scotland or something, but you're never going to win anything in your career. I could state that just now. I don't think you're going to go to mediocre clubs down in England and you're going to win nothing, and you're never going to end up at a top level club. Sorry, you're wasting a massive, massive chance here to progress your career. And fuck him. That's what I say. Daniel is a similar young player. He's been offered a really good contract by the club. It's a contract that would see him come into the first team squad and play and perform to develop, because he's got a lot of development to do. I personally spoke with his agent, says Brendan Rodgers, and the player some months ago back. Listen, we can't tidy this up by the summer. It's very hard for him to be in the team pre-season. It's as simple as that. Is this Brendan Rodgers putting a bit of pressure on Daniel Kelly to say, look, if you want to play in the first team, you need to sign a contract? He's quite right. So I only want players at Celtic, and no one's bigger than the club. As good as we think that Daniel Kelly could be, if he doesn't want to play for Celtic, if he doesn't want to be here, he shouldn't be anywhere near the first team. He doesn't have that right to be anywhere near the first team. You know, there are players that have committed their long-term future to the club that are here just now, and they will play before him. You know, you've got young Odom and players like that we've brought into the club. They've committed to the club. Daniel Kelly's getting a little bit above himself, 18-year-old. It's in this fucking Instagram generation. They think that everything should just be handed to them on a plate, and it's wrong. You need to work for it. And you know, see, when you do work for it in your life, and you work hard for it. I mean, he's probably think, oh yeah, I'm going to go away and I'm going to get 20 grand a week, and then I'm going to end up on 100, 300 grand a week in 5 years. Well, hopefully he maybe does. Hopefully he maybe does, but I don't think he will. But anyway, he says, Brendan Rodgers said, you'll go somewhere else and maybe play, but you never know. We've got until December, but it's disappointing at this stage that it won't happen, because it would have been a great opportunity this pre-season. I just know the value, both in terms of player qualities and the contract on offer. The offer that the club gave them was very good for young players in terms of where they're at in their development. That was Brendan Rodgers talking about the Rocco Vata situation and the current Daniel Kelly situation. It is for me, I think it's a wrong move by the player. He could have went on to be a fantastic player by Celtic. And I don't know where he thinks he's at personally in his career, and I don't know where he thinks he should be strolling about that first team like Scott Brown. But I feel disappointed and let down by the lad, and I think and Brendan Rodgers has got every right to say, look, if you're not going to sign a contract, you're not on the trip to America. And I did say that in the past couple of games. I did say, look, Brendan Rodgers will be looking at young players to see where they are in their development of the game, and watch out for the ones that make the trip to America, because the ones that make the trip to America are the ones that will be in and around the first team. Daniel Kelly's just missed out on a trip to America and to play against the likes of Manchester United and Chelsea. That would have seen where he was at, his development. Then he would know how good a player he was, or where he was at, and whether he thinks that he could go up with the best of the best. Maybe not Chelsea or Man United, to be fair. Anyway, we move on the Celtic news this morning. I still can't just get over the whole Daniel Kelly situation. I think it's the fact that many Celtic fans are a bit peed off with the situation when it comes to the goalkeeper. I mean, Joe Hart announced his retirement back in February or something. And we've known that we needed a striker in. Now, Brendan Rodgers is still confident in the fact that we will get 2 players signed before we travel to America. That being Adam Ida and Paulo Bernardo. He is confident that those deals will get over the line before we travel to America. But we are travelling to America with Scott Bain and a goalkeeper that does not want to be at Celtic, Benji Siegrist. This is not an ideal situation. What is going on in the background of Celtic? What are the people in charge playing at? Because as it stands just now, we're now losing Daniel Kelly for 300,000 or whatever. And if it is the case that we're going to lose Daniel Kelly, I mean, Brendan Rodgers is saying we've got until Christmas. He's not going to sign a new contract. He's not going to change his mind. And especially if he's left out of first team pre-season, and it seems to be the mindset of these young guys where they spit the dummy out and go, well, if I'm not going to be involved in the team, I'm not even going to try. So he's going to just go into the ether. The fact that we still need to bring a goalkeeper in, we still need a left back. Is it an ideal situation to be travelling to America with just those 2 new signings, Paulo Bernardo? I mean, is it going to be a big fanfare? Hey, we signed Paulo Bernardo and Adam Ida. Is Celtic really going to roll out the trumpets and we can get the flags out? Fucking, hey, new signings, transfer windows open. Fucking get in there. Celtic fans are going to be like, are you cunts having a laugh? Oh my God, that is what is going on with Celtic today. Celtic are getting ready to travel to America. Let's see if the one and only, he won't travel to America, won't he? He's not going to travel to America with the first team. He's going to get left out just like Rocco Vata. And it's absolutely devastating because I thought when you see that young boy playing, I thought, you know what, he could develop like Callum McGregor. He could be a player like Callum McGregor in that midfield. But he's deciding not to. So good luck to him. He never gets spoken about on this channel again. And when people go on about speculation, remember when it comes to December and he's out of contract, he walks out the door and signs for someone else. He walked away from us, so fuck him. And on that note, have a fantastic day, Celtic fans all around the world.